It's time for the Bookie and the Bettors Show. If you're a sports fan, now it's time to play the odds and make every bet count. New episodes post every Thursday on your favorite streaming service. Now introducing Rob Kowalski, the Bookie, and Randy Wike, the Bettor.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bookie and Bettor. I am your host, Robert Kowalski, joined once again by best friends from the book at Baldini's, Nick Schulte,
Hey.
Randy Wike.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on the day previous to Independence Day.
Can you believe it? July 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Where has this year gone?
Blink of an eye. Blink of an eye.
We always talked about what we were going to do in the off season, and never really was too concerned about
How many days
that.
till the NFL season?
Well, not many at all.
I'm still
go ahead and
I'm still paying off my Christmas shopping from last year.
30 some days, right, to exhibition.
This is the last month without football until March of 2025.
There you go.
unless you're from Canada, you're already in week number 5 of the Canadian Football League.
Yep. Cody Fajardo, Player of the Year right now. Watch out.
I don't play 110 meter ball, whatever.
What I'd like to talk about today is a few things that are hot on my radar and some things that have been coming across from the sports betting world. At least here, locally in Nevada, where you may be listening, probably is something that may already be old news, or maybe you're just discovering it actually in your experiences. So, a sportsbook offers up a number every single day on all the products that they've got. Everyone has an account and everyone could go ahead and make a bet. But what happens when suddenly you realize that this bet that you wanted to make, let's just say on the LA Dodgers, that's a nice price. You wanted to go ahead and play it for the limit, and you go in and log in and you make your bet for whatever the max amount is, and it says max bet $20. So the question then becomes, what have I done? Is something wrong with my account? Let me go into another sport, maybe WNBA. So WNBA, I know, let's just say I get, $500 on a side. Nope, that says $20. Uh-oh, something went really wrong here. I wonder what it could be. So you go into chat, or maybe you make a phone call and someone picks up the phone and says, hi, how can I help you? And the person says, just like to talk about what's happening with my personal account. I'm trying to make a bet, and the limit is not even 10% of what it is. It's like 5% of what I normally was able to make just last week. What gives? Well, you're a winner, Nick Schulte. And we realize that you are playing advantage sides. You are clearly, playing positions that are on the move. And
you know what you're doing.
These are exactly the terms that they use. They don't specifically ever say, well, we're going to dissolve your account because you're winning. That doesn't sound too good.
You say, we no longer want your business.
We no longer want your business. Let's talk about that, right? Let me just put a quick cork in that, and let's talk about how you would feel if that was the reasoning given to you.
I'd feel pretty good because I was a winner.
Randy?
Well, slots and table games have had the advantage player back off for years.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So obviously, if you're a video poker player and they think you're playing the advantage side of basically the flush to full house for the payoff.
I know about what that means, but for the audience, explain that pay table correlation.
Obviously, the pay table dictates, especially when you're looking at a progressive, large progressive. So you get these advantage players that know what they're doing, when to hold cards, when to basically dish them. So that's been going on a long time. Same thing in table games with blackjack. If they think, and I say they, the house, thinks you're basically reading cards, you're a card reader, and you can dictate the outcome of the next hand, they back you off.
Is that legal?
Is that legal for the properties? Can
Yes.
deny anybody play.
They can deny anyone because it is private property.
In the state of Nevada, it is not illegal to count cards. It is illegal to use a computer device to count cards.
Okay.
So if you do it all in your head, totally fine. But the casino does reserve the right to not want your business. They'll ask you to leave, and they'll say, "Hey, you can't have a card here." Or oftentimes, with card counters, we'll see, "Hey, you can play slots, roulette, craps. You just can't be on the blackjack table."
So if I'm a player and I come in and clearly I'm doing that, I'm finding all the great pay tables on video poker. I'm seeing 9-6s. I don't even know if a 9-6 exists anymore.
The 9-6 is the popular game back in the day,
right? So I don't even know if they exist anymore. And Nick is shaking his head.
No, I haven't seen a 9-6.
He hasn't seen a 9-6. I guess I won't talk about a 10-6. That's probably nowhere near the planet at this point either.
Well, some of these added bonuses, though, some of these houses do, a property in Vegas does, the lucky 7s and 9s.
And just to clarify, so our listeners are on the same page, if you're looking at a traditional slot like Buffalo, how you have different pay tables, and what that means is the mathematical hold that's built into the game. How you tighten the game is you basically take out certain symbols. So in Buffalo, actually, how you tighten the game is you take out the number of 10s that are in the first column, because then all the other 10s just become blockers, and mathematically the game's going to hold more. On a video poker game, you can't take out cards. It's a 52 card deck. So
yes.
how you put a hold to a poker game, it's all with the paybacks. And like Randy was saying, you can tell just by looking at the flush and full houses of what those pay back, and you can tell real quick, because obviously you're going to hit more full houses and flushes than 4 of a kinds. You just hit a 4 of a kind once every 420 hands or so. But that extra kickback every time you hit those is going to play you, keep giving you more time on device to get to the jackpot.
Now, and again, you're the bookie. You got to help me. I mean, realistically, slots, video poker, and table games have had this realistically for years.
Mm-hmm. Had this
where they basically could tell you, we don't.
You have to back off. Okay, very good. Go ahead.
So, Keno, I don't believe has that, because obviously it's a higher hold game, and again, the outcome is dictated by a machine.
There's some ways to do advantage play on Keno, I've seen.
I mean, monitor games and that type of thing. But when you look at the sports book, again, me a better, the way you guys have tried to control it, to my angle, is move the lines. Now, if you're sophisticated and you know something, the wise guys, and I think we're talking about the wise guys here, whether it's injury reports or whatever, they can dictate the outcome of the game because they know something.
They can do better in terms of their hold percentage because they know more. And of course, that's what it comes down to in sports betting. Unless you're betting into a super inefficient sport, like not football point spreads or, NBA point spreads, if you're looking at like Canadian football totals or WNBA totals, really volatile, or player props, those are the ones that move dramatically every single hour, maybe even quicker before, first pitch or tip off. So when you gather information faster than the sports book does, that gives you a positive expected value on the bet, right? Whether it's win or lose, they have the theoretical upper hand. So
to your question,
yes,
again, the house should have the luxury, if they think, and I'm going to use the term advantage player.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an advantage bettor, the house should have control to say, we don't want your action. Now, whether that's they've got your account and they see how many games in a row you've won out of 10 or whatever.
A month, year.
I think that's gambling. So we should be able to, I say we, the house, should be able to back you off.
Nick.
I agree with Randy. I mean, the house does not like to gamble with its own money. So, it's
gambling.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but you do see those, like I said, those wise guys that, and especially when you have promotions and carded points and you can kind of look at what our reinvestment is and you're like, we're really upside down on this guy. And that's where the term advantage comes from.
Now, if I'm a celebrity or, do I use the term athlete? I don't use my friend to make bets, right?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Ohtani right now.
No, I'm not bringing up Ohtani.
You just did. No, you just did.
No, I
Randy.
did not.
No, you really
said
did.
An athlete.
No, you did.
Or a
you just
celebrity.
did. You just literally said Shohei Ohtani.
Is that? But are we talking the same thing?
No, we're not, and I'll explain why. So now to bring it all the way back, you are a sports book advantage player. You are constantly on the positive side of the expected value of that wager.
I'm pretty good then.
Not going to comment there. So what am I getting at? instead of giving Nick Schulte, I'm going to use you for this example, the regular play that everyone has, I'm going to scale you down. I'm going to give you 10% of what everybody else, AKA, I'm going to profile you. And this doesn't happen over the counter. This is done on a mobile betting, account wagering. And so it's done super fast. It's done, anywhere they want, as long as they're inside the state line, and they're able to make the wager across multiple accounts if they wanted to. So similarly, a sportsbook can then lower their limits on all events, any events, and that's going to be the end of that. Yes, you might still beat me, but you're going to beat me for 10% of what I want rather than the full boat. And that is the issue that's coming up. So some people will then get backed off, and they're like, you know what? That's cool. I see what you did there. So the next step is to go ahead and call upon all of your friends, maybe not even friends, associates, those that will go ahead and create an account.
They don't
at
have
the
to worry about
establishment.
me. My limits aren't that high.
They should be a lot higher, actually.
Yeah, they should be a lot higher. Just saying.
When they go and sign up to all of their accounts, the bettor in question, go ahead, he or she then funds all of those accounts, tells those people when to make the play and for how much, and look what happened. The beard of the account holder in question that has been profiled is now getting full limits, and now it's 10x. Rather than just giving the person the regular limit, you're now getting hit 10 times the amount. I'm just using those numbers as an example in this instance. And so comes up the topic of beards.
Now, how did they come up with the word beard? Help me out here.
I don't know. Just go to your old timey movies, and you see the villains come in and they have a beard.
It wasn't.
They come in like,
an
look,
acronym
I am
for a word.
I am. Look, no, that's not me.
Oh, I got you.
That's not me. No, this is for those of you in the audio medium. I just put my finger across my mustache, and it was funny for the time. Anyway, the point being is that what is really best for an operator, and by operator I mean it could be a digital platform, or if it's for a casino, because there is no one size fits all in this instance. However, if you continue to back off and back off and back off and back off, they're going to just keep realizing it. They'll probably end up commiserating and talking to each other, and it goes, oh yeah, well, property X, no, I can't get down there. I can't get down on property Y or Z. And so they realize that these are the properties that will back you off if you become positive expected value.
Can I ask one question? The growth of the mobile app. The mobile app for a property, and again, I'm speaking on behalf of a property now, not the bettor. The mobile app, you don't really know who is making the bet, versus the old days where you had to come across the counter and make the bet.
Yep.
So I guess we could use the term wise guys. On the mobile app, you get some wise guys, you don't know who they are, that want to make these big accounts, put some money in the account, and then go after it.
Right.
Has that led to this more in your mind?
Of course.
Mobile apps.
Of course, right. And so we're looking at...
you started runners back in the day, the same thing.
And that's exactly a great point, too. So if we go back, 2005, even earlier, for me, I'm in the business since 2004 out in Vegas. And so you would see it. You would literally see guys inside the sportsbook running down the aisle to come in and get the bet. And I'm like, wow, that guy's in a real hurry. I wonder what he's about to bet. And then you realize, okay, you're literally a runner. Who are you running for? Right? And then you realize, okay, this person's making bets. This is not for him, even though he says, of course, it's my bet. However, to come back to your question, Randy, account wagering. If you're a good bookmaker, right, and you look at the bet ticker or your variant of the log that shows you the bets to come across, and I see Nick Schulte making a wager. He establishes an account, and he's got whatever amount you're comfortable with, and it's a really tiny bet, and it's a parlay. Probably can let that go on aside and not have to worry about it. However, if he's making limit bets, to use my example earlier on the WNBA on a total, and then you go and take a look at prices around town and, look at that, you're late. You just missed the boat because everyone just moved at 1.5 or 2 points and he got the best of it. He got positive expected value. So you make a mental note in your head. Or maybe the operating system that you have uses its algorithmic strength to say, I'm just going to remember that. And maybe in 2 weeks, once I get a bigger body of work, I could say, you know what? For the vast majority of his bets or her bets, they're all on WNBA totals. May want to say to yourself, you may want to go ahead and follow this person a little bit closer and see, are they up, down, sideways, however it goes. Okay, so we now know about what the issue is, both from an account holder's perspective, sucks, and a operator's perspective, sucks. How do you solve it? I present to you this question. It's going to happen. You're either going to get beat by someone that's, quote, sharp, and you realize that they've got better information than you with all the systems and all the people that you have. Doesn't matter. Or do you back them off? Nick?
I think that's a tough question. I think you got to go back to, really in a perfect world, how the sports book operates. I mean, ideally, you have even money on both sides. And then since you're minus 110, you're going to take your 10% VIG and the losers pay the winners. So in that case, it doesn't matter, but it's an ongoing issue. It's always going to be an ongoing issue. I think, you continue to back people off and adjust their limits, but if they want to go out and get their friends to come and do the same thing, more power to them. In time, we'll catch their friends too. So, and let's be honest. Just looking at like card counters, everybody says, hey, if you count cards, you're going to win every time.
Right. You
give yourself a 1% advantage over the house.
1%.
Yeah. So you go from 49.51 to 51.49. So it's not a guaranteed you're going to, and I think back to your point, 2 weeks I don't think is enough time to really get enough data. You need to look at, you're talking over months, if not years of stuff. Of you
got to see a
you're like,
body
okay,
of work.
This guy's, he's not really betting the game. He's an advantage player.
Randy, what do you do as an operator? I'm going to go ahead and present it to you in regards to this situation that's happened for years, but now is even more exasperated because of social media.
I was going to touch on the fact that 2 weeks, 2 weeks is not enough.
Okay.
So as an operator, I am going to evaluate you. I'm going to evaluate your count. I'm going to set up your count for wins and losses. And like you say, if there's, as an operator, and I see he is betting totals every game, I'm going to tell him he can't bet totals. Now, to cut his action totally off if he's a decent player, you may not want to do that, but you're going to kind of steer him to betting another softball, baseball, basketball, hockey.
Something else.
Yeah. And
something more
I think,
efficient.
Again, from the standpoint of, because obviously the mobile app's not going away.
Nope.
So I think you have to go from the standpoint, do you want the action? You're in gambling. So as an operator, I want the action. I just don't want illegal action if I know you're doing it. So if they have history, let's use Nick as an example. If we have history on Nick, we're going to advise him either we can't take his action on totals any longer, or we're going to back him up. Define
action. You said, no, sorry, not action. Define illegal. You said illegal 30 seconds ago.
Well, from a standpoint, if he's an advantage player, to me that's illegal. Okay.
Advantage play is illegal.
Yeah, because I'm on the operator side.
Very good.
But from the standpoint of seeing him beat the house,
yes,
consistently,
yes,
something comes to mind. Something's going on. So either he's getting inside information on a particular game or sport, and I think you have to take, just like they've done now in slots and table games, as I mentioned earlier,
right.
You back him off.
I have one punctuating opinion to make on this. I rarely do this. I just like to present these topics. But as a bookmaker, I've been doing this for a couple of decades, I love these sharp bettors.
They give you insight.
I love them. And so I've come up with my own philosophy that some of my colleagues, at least here home in Nevada, like to follow. And for those of you that are listening in, thank you so much. I appreciate you, whether you're watching it on YouTube or listening to us wherever you get your podcast. And this is something that I actually do find pretty important to me as a bookmaker. This has kind of been my philosophy. Everyone, wherever I make an operation, wherever it may be, is going to get the same bite of the apple. Same bite. If I happen to find myself popped, double popped, triple popped, quadruple popped, that's on me. I did something wrong. My team wasn't prepared. They're not watching the
Right.
products that are out there. We're not managing the risk properly.
You could have the correct policies and procedures in place.
Right. And so everyone gets the same cut. Everyone gets the same limits. Now, are we open 24/7? No, we're not. Right? Not in this particular instance. There's other operations that I've done that are open 24/7. Irregardless, you're going to get the same bite of the apple. And I don't care if you're, positive EV, you're a parlay better, or someplace in between. I'm going to give you the same bet, no matter what, that anyone else can. Then I can make a decision after, well, for me, Randy, I know you said you want to see more than 2 weeks. Sometimes I'm able to figure out just how good you are after 3 bets. 3 bets is sometimes all I need to say, this one's really good. And so I circle that account. I let my colleagues know, watch this person. They're really good. They're probably not always going to be really good, but they might be better than 50% most of the time. So I love these people. I love that they are betting with my operation because then I know the right side. And then I could see at the end of the month and I said, yep, I was right. Mm-hmm. I could see at the end of the quarter,
Good point.
Yep, I was right.
Point.
And then at the end of the year, wow, was I right. And that makes, at the very end of the year, everybody happy.
I need more insight when I'm betting from people.
Yeah.
I definitely need to start.
Even if you get this right insight, it'll be too late.
The
number will have sailed long ago.
I think you've just given me the point now. Luck is going to really change for me now.
Thanks so much for enduring that. It's not our normal prose, but I thought it was really important to discuss because we rarely actually talk about the business of sports betting. We go into a lot of the X's and O's.
I would be curious what you find out because obviously they're going to get a lot of sports books, management involved on what their decision making is to maybe we bring this up in another show.
Yeah.
Because I think it will affect the bettor at some point.
That's no doubt about it. And so again, how do you avoid having someone get so upset so that they have to go in and send in X amount of people to create an account just to be a beard? Just give them a fair bite.
Can stores do that, retail stores, to your spouse? If your spouse is spending too much money, can we put something down?
Positive EV shoe buying.
There you go.
These shoes are definitely underpriced.
Help me.
So let's actually go ahead and move on to some of the other news of the day that I'm seeing here. We talked a little bit about the NBA, and the season is over, right? There's no doubt about how that season ended up, but now the NBA draft now complete. Free agency now open. Some teams are looking to make some moves. Some are significant. Some have improved already. And some have some questions. Let's talk about a lot of questions surrounding the LA Lakers. Today, the joke has always been that LeBron James is the general manager of the LA Lakers. So if that's the case, he's got some work to do, gentlemen. He just got an extension, and it is a 2-year, $104 million max deal to return to the Lakers. It includes a player option and no trade clause. Not like he needs one. So the question now is, what happened to this roster? And I'm looking here at their offseason. Let's see where they're currently at. Here's their starting 5. Ready for the starting 5. D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, nice little backcourt. LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, and Anthony Davis. That is their starting 5. Wait, let's just go their first 3 off the bench. Gabe Vincent, vet. Bronny James, for those of you who don't know and haven't been watching over the last few years, yes, that is LeBron James' son. Dalton Connect.
Just a quick question. Has it ever happened before? Has there ever been a father-son on the same team?
Great point. Don't know. I'll have to find that out, and we'll mention that in the mentions below. I have a feeling that their current salary of $190 million for the coming season is going to have problems. As a matter of fact, it is. Even with the increase in the salary cap, it is gone. Forget about the tax threshold of 171.3 or their first apron of 178.1. They're past their second apron of 188.9 million. So what is happening here? Yes, they got themselves a great staff. It was also just broken news that they have added not only Nate McMillan, but Scotty Brooks as well as the top assistant coaches to JJ Redick. So great staff. He just surrounded himself with a combined almost 1,200 victories among those two. So the staff is going to be great. You know, we'll have them with a lot of great knowledge and wisdom. But at $190 million for this roster, yeah, I could go over the rest of their reserves, but they have to make a change right now. And so from what I heard, Nick, LeBron James was just told, you know what, maybe we could do something about this contract that we just guaranteed you so we could get at least $1 million under the second apron so we could do something.
So really quick, what happens if they're over that apron? I mean, is it just additional fines or?
Yeah, you got to basically pay.
You pay a royalty penalty.
Pay into the league, right?
Yeah.
So it's forget about the tax threshold that you're already in for, but now you're in for more.
Well, I ask both of you guys this question. If you're the owner of the Lakers, what do you care more about, the value of your team or winning games?
What a great callback. I'm going to call back to this in my next segment about exactly what you said there. But, Randy, what do you care if you win a title? You're the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. Because status, when you become a professional owner, and I don't care if you look at Mark Cuban, who's got a lot of money, these guys want the status to say, I own a winner. And it's all mental. They want the public to know, Jerry Jones, I own a winner.
Jerry Jones.
But the problem,
see, there's a problem with that. Was a really bad example, Randy White. Yeah,
okay.
It's a bad one.
But
no, Randy, just admit it. That was a bad one.
Okay, a bad one.
Okay, thanks.
Jeannie Buss has not made good decisions since Dad passed away. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. If you go back to the decision-making even with Kobe and Shaq and all of the issues that were going on behind the scenes with that team.
Yeah, but they won a title.
Yeah,
they won a title, but afterwards, again.
Oh, right, post Kobe and Shaq.
If you think bubble years count, then technically they did win a title this decade.
Yeah, well, we'll go there another day. But money is obviously... Money was an issue when they were trying to hire Hurley, was it not?
Yes.
The best college coach right now in the NCAA, and they couldn't give him, he was going to get the 6th highest salary. They have two guys that have destroyed their financial success.
Name
on this
them.
team. Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So now you put those two at the salaries they get.
Okay.
To be successful in the NBA, you got to have 3 scores, and I mean 3 consistent scores. I've said it for years, and I'll say it again. You got to have 3 consistent scores. You have to have a 6th man that can come off the bench and either get you a double or close to a double-double every game. And you got to have a bench and a starting 5 that plays more than 40 games a year. And the Lakers lacking all of that. And when you look at, and I think something today was going on with D'Angelo Russell. We'll have to update that.
We'll see that, right?
But again, this team is not made for success under the current scenario. And I'm sorry, one of them has to go where they can get 2 other scores for the money they're paying an Anthony Davis. Or
it ain't going to be LeBron James.
No, Anthony Davis has to go. And I'm being perfectly honest, under the current scenario with their salary structures that they have, they need him to go to make room for 2 other good scorers in the NBA. And I know we're going to talk about some of the other teams, what some of the moves they made. You can't go stagnant when it comes to age. And I've said this over and over, Major League Baseball right now, age plays a deciding factor in the success of whether you're not even going to make the playoffs.
Bronny James has signed his rookie contract with the Lakers. This was today. 4 years and $7.9 million, a team option in the 4th season. I wish the Lakers good luck. I'm not quite sure how this season's going to end up. I think a couple of episodes we are actually mentioning
what did
over
Bronny
or
get
under
for
the
his
season win
second round
total.
pick? What was his
7.9?
7 point. That's the rookie
7.9?
contract deal, right?
But I mean, I'm just, and I don't know, but I would venture to guess if you look at the team value of the Lakers over the last 2 years, and especially this year, it's gone up substantially. And I mean, just look at, Bronny James, I believe he's setting records for the number of people buying his jersey right now. I mean, they're, again, people that don't even watch basketball, Bronny and LeBron are household names. So I think that definitely plays more into it than winning games. It's the value of the team.
Nick, am I sensing a I don't care if I win mentality here? Just get my franchise worth more? It's okay if it is. I just want to know if that's your position.
Yeah, well, why would you draft the kid? I just don't. I mean, sure, if it's not, that was a money grab, in my opinion, 100%. You're going to get every media coverage out there on it. You're going to, the first time they're on the court together. I mean, it's literally a money grab.
Well, and to that point,
good for them.
On the road games, does LeBron James sell seats?
Yes.
Then he is the deciding factor in everything the Lakers are going to do.
All right, from a betting perspective, then, NBA title aspirations 30-1 on the Lakers right now, right this moment. Buying or selling, Nick?
I like to win, so I'll keep my money.
Nick, excellent. Randy, 30-1.
They're too old.
Okay, I'm not gonna go ahead and beat a horse here that doesn't need to be. Probably would hate being beaten anyway.
I think I asked you this the other day, but is there a yes/no on will Bronny James win a gold medal this year?
No, he's not playing.
You don't think Daddy's going to pull some strings and kick somebody off the team?
I really think if that happens, Nick.
The USA pride will offset family. He's not ready to play an international type game. I don't know if he's ready
got all
for
the
the
experience.
NBA.
Look at all the experience he's got.
That's
why he got drafted,
he's
right?
got playing in the backyard with Dad. That won't count over there.
Klay Thompson is no longer a Golden State Warrior. Splash Bros is now complete.
It's a sad day for the Bay Area.
He is a little gray than he was about 5 years ago. Actually, I'm not quite sure if he was even the same player since he
the injury
got really hurt.
The injury set him back.
So he now signs a deal with the Dallas Mavericks. Will be probably a starter. If not, like you said, Randy, a really good sixth man to come off the bench and spot the three for you. Right now, let's forget about obviously Golden State. They're 40-1. Forget about 30-1 on the Lakers. Golden State Warriors 40-1 to win the title at the Book of Baldini's. However, let's look to Dallas.
Can we go back to the Warriors real quick? And you're going to see the demise of this team probably even before the season. I think there'll be a couple moves.
Right.
And again, I don't want to throw slander at it, but to me, Draymond Green has hurt this team's image. A Klay Thompson scorer versus a Draymond, and I know Draymond does everything, plays great defense. He's not a team player. He's definitely not somebody you want in the locker room to shake hands with. Is the demise of the Warriors due to that?
He definitely didn't help it, for sure. But, I mean, they've kind of been on a downward trend for a while.
Age plays a vicious game in this sport. Age. Thank God we're still young at heart to do this.
Randy, you said I'm not going to go throw slander, but, and what they say, if you interject with a but, you're throwing slander.
Okay.
And we actually talked about this, maybe, 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, we talked about the Warriors, and is this it? Are we really staring down the end of this era? And, well, now we can say for certain we are. Klay Thompson now with Dallas, and so if we just look at it from a NBA championship aspiration odds, breaking it down for teams from the West, the Denver Nuggets 8-1, yes. Oklahoma City Thunder also 8-1, and the Dallas Mavericks, now the new home of Klay Thompson, 10-1. Of course, number one, Boston Celtics, they are currently 3-1. We want to talk about a lopsided odds to win.
And I really think after the last finals, I mean, obviously the Celtics have kind of set the bar, and I think Dallas has taken note and says, hey, we need to, up some people here. And I heard they're going after KD as well, so we'll see.
Still plenty of offseason left before the first tip.
Watch out for Oklahoma City.
Yep.
Young and very talented.
Quite.
But you don't think the Warriors could rebuild quickly? I mean, what do you think about Kerr as a coach? I mean, the guy was on arguably one of the greatest teams of all time.
Completely agree. We are just starting.
You just brought up an interesting point, and I'm going to say this now. Steve Kerr's longevity in the NBA is going to be dictated by the outcome of the Olympics. Mark my words. If they don't win, Steve Kerr's done.
As coach of the Golden State Warriors?
Yes. Mark my words.
So if they don't win gold. All right, so we're going to bookmark this here at this very moment, that if the USA men's basketball team does not win gold, Steve Kerr will not be coach of the Warriors.
That's correct. He will
this
retire.
year or like?
No, he will retire. Okay. He will retire. Mark my words.
Got it.
You're hearing it here on July 3rd.
Can we get a yes, no prop on that?
I think we should. All right. So I've been looking at a really cool little tool, and I wanted to find my way into actually creating something fun. I'm going to use a fun little widget that I found on the internet called Tier Maker. I'm going to go ahead and break down at this point your selections for AL and NL pennant in Major League Baseball. We're basically at the All-Star break right now, and I wanted to see what your thoughts were here on where we're standing, and we'll go ahead and just break this thing down. If I find my way over here and we see, let's just go start off with the American League right now. And we're going to go ahead and rank them, of course, as pennant, right? It's the very top. You're a pennant contender. And then the playoffs, wild card will be next. And then feet shufflers. You're the franchises that you're probably not going to make the playoffs, maybe once every 10 years, maybe not. And then there's the TV revenue existence. Those that, like Nick said just a short while ago, teams that really aren't here for a championship. They're here for that really sweet TV deal. Mm-hmm. So in the American League, obviously, we could see the standings. We've got Baltimore at the top of the East. The Cleveland Guardians, who we talked about a few weeks ago, a buy-sell question there in the Central on top. And Seattle out in the West as division leaders. So those are who are up top in the AL. Randy, I'm going to go ahead and see if we could start off easy. Now, remember, different set of rules in baseball right now. We're actually looking at 12 teams, right? 6 from the AL and 6 from the NL. Soon it's going to be half the league like the NHL, but I digress. Who's here for TV revenue existence? Randy, give me one, and Nick, you go ahead and share with another one.
The Yankees.
TV revenue existence.
Yeah.
No.
I'm going to go White Sox.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's what we're talking about. This club exists because they like TV revenue. That's why. They're not here to win championships. White Sox is the first nominee. Excellent. Go ahead and drag that into there.
I think the Oakland A's.
Well, Oakland A's are blacked out all the time, so how are you going to get out here?
Even better. Now they don't get to even be seen being horrible, and they still get TV revenue. Okay, who else?
Detroit Tigers.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. I could, for now, put them in there. That makes sense. Sure.
You know what? I'm going to put the New York Mets into that.
AL. We'll get to NL in a moment.
Just doing AL. Okay.
Okay. So we've got the Chicago White Sox, the Oakland A's, Detroit Tigers. You exist for TV revenue. Who are the feet shufflers? Who are here to just say, you know what? Maybe we make the playoffs. Maybe we won't. Maybe we're just 500.
Well, I would put the Seattle Mariners into that mix because, again, injuries are going to play a big thing in this game. But Seattle has some talent, some youth, and some veterans, and I think they can make a name. They can make it as a wild card team. They're not going to win the American League West.
All right, so they're not feet shufflers. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up to wild card then.
Okay.
Nick, tell me about some of these others here that I'm finding here. The Angels, the Shohei Ohtani less, and quite possibly not even Mike Trout Angels.
I would put them in the feet shuffler mode. Definitely.
Okay, so we've got a few that have already been put into pieces. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them already into position. How about some playoff contenders now? Playoff contenders, as I mentioned, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Seattle are all division winners, followed by the Yankees, the Minnesota Twins, and the Houston Astros. How many of those would you say are playoff contenders, wild card contenders, or maybe even pennant contenders?
I like the Astros for the pennant.
Okay.
I just think based off experience, and I'll take a wager with anybody right now, I think Cleveland makes the playoffs and they're out in the first round.
Okay, let me go ahead and put Cleveland there and Houston to the very top for pennant contender. Randy, we've got 1, 2, 3. Give me 3 more in any order, and we could go ahead and discuss how they drop.
The Baltimore Orioles are going to be in the playoffs.
Okay.
And they may win it all. The Minnesota Twins are going to be in the playoffs.
Okay.
And then, believe it or not, my kind of sleeping pick, if you will, Houston's pitching staff just took another blow last night. I think that's going to hurt them. I still think Texas Rangers are going to bounce back if they can get their pitching elements going.
Okay.
I actually have them jumping the Astros in the second half of the season.
All right, so we could get 6. However, we've got an issue already. With Houston as a pennant contender, makes sense, right? We have playoff spots for Cleveland, Baltimore, and Minnesota. Wild card spots to Seattle and Texas. However, New York Yankees are right there for the wild card spot because, they're game out, right? So forget about making a wild card, position here. They are actually 7 games up in terms of who would get the first wild card spot. So Yankees got to go someplace. Even if we put him in the wild card, now, gentlemen, someone's got to go. Who's dropping into feet shuffler mode? Will it be Cleveland, Baltimore, Minnesota, Seattle, or Texas? I don't want to think that the Yankees are feet shufflers ever. So let's go ahead and just...
you know what? You might want to rephrase that. You have 4 of the best players in Major League Baseball currently out for the Yankees.
Okay.
I don't know how long Soto's going to be out.
Yeah, let's say he'll be back in September.
You've got a pitching staff that, oh my Lord, middle relief and closers. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
It's close.
I thought
it was close.
Counting
So,
down.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously, you got to drop Texas or Seattle. I get it. I'm not sold on Seattle. So I'm going to drop the Mariners. It or not.
I would also agree with that same pick.
Okay. Seattle, feet shufflers. And so that then brings Houston as a pennant contender.
46 and 40, but their last 10, do you show what their
close.
last
47 and 40 for Seattle. Their last 10 have been advanced metrics. Oh, yeah, you're right. That's a very good point, Randy. 3 and 7 in the last 10.
I question it.
That's the Wike 4000, right?
They are actually, they clearly are leaders in the West, but, Houston inching ever so closer. And
pitching
obviously,
is the big question with the Astros.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So we've got, at this point, Houston as a pennant contender, playoff spots for Cleveland, Baltimore, and Minnesota, wild card spots for the New York Yankees and not Houston. I'm sorry, I keep seeing the state of Texas. This is the Texas Rangers. Feet shuffling, Angels, Mariners, and thanks so much for that great TV revenue. It is the Chicago White Sox, the Oakland A's, and the Detroit Tigers. Teams that we talked about at the start of the baseball season that just, we're talking about them possibly not even getting to 60 wins. And so,
and the sad part with the Tigers, Skubal was a great pitcher.
Right.
Maybe one of the best in the American League. It's just a shame they don't have something around him.
No, not quite there. You're absolutely right. All right, let's go ahead and reshuffle. Now, we're going to cover the National League. And so, obviously, what I want to do as I bring these teams back down, I'm going to go ahead and, of course, still use the same categories, right? We're going to talk about who are your pennant contenders, who will definitely be a playoff spot, who makes the wild card, who are a feet shufflers, who are feet shufflers, who's existing for that great TV revenue existence, and then the New York Mets. In the category of the New York Mets is the New York Mets.
You got some inside information there?
Yes, I do. Yes, they are not going to win ever. They're just not.
Didn't you used to be a ticket guy?
I may have been a ticket guy in my previous incarnation.
Oh.
And I may have been out of Flushing doing the same. There may have been a curse put on the franchise some time ago. And so the last category of Mets is taken up by the New York Mets. So, Randy, let's go ahead and start with you. National League. Who's existing for TV revenue only?
Well, you got to put the Nationals in there.
It's incredible because of how good they were, but I can't disagree with you at all. Let's put Washington in now under there.
You know what? I'm going to put the Chicago Cubs in there.
You know. Okay, no, not my list. Not my list. Hold on. Chicago, you're absolutely right. Chicago Cubs.
I think they're more feet shuffler. I'd put them more of a feet shuffler than a.
And I definitely have the Colorado Rockies in that group.
The Colorado Rockies.
What about Miami?
And the Miami Marlins, yeah.
Man, National League just collecting all that free money.
And you know what? You might want to put the San Francisco Giants.
I could do that to my team, but I'm.
Who's okay? So let's have them shuffle feet, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so Nick,
definitely, and they're shuffling on the edge. Let's be honest.
All right, so some other teams that are at the bottom. We talked, of course. Randy mentioned Washington, the Miami Marlins, Chicago Cubs, Colorado. What say you, Nick, about the Cincinnati Reds and the Arizona Diamondbacks? Both of them are second to last in their division, Central and West.
I'd put them in feet shuffle mode. I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Okay, so Arizona
I will
Diamondbacks.
say this. The Diamondbacks, and again, parent AAA club here in Reno, they will make some moves when they can increase the roster September 1st. And the Diamondbacks do well with those kids coming up. So, and some old-time veterans. So watch out for the Diamondbacks come September.
I think it might be a little too
this season.
Too little. Too
well,
late,
I think it'll be too late.
Yes,
but you may see them start winning more than they're losing.
All right, so let's see what we're left here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. All right, let's start. Bringing some teams to the top here. We need 6 on the top of the National League. So who are in the lead right now? Of course, it's the Philadelphia Phillies in the East, the Milwaukee Brewers in the Central, and of course the LA Dodgers out West. So. Go ahead, Nick. Let's start off by some pennant contenders, obvious playoff
I like
spots.
the Braves for the pennant this year.
Braves in the pennant. Very good. Okay, you're not. I see what you're doing here. You picked Houston, who's not exactly at the very top of the list for your winner of the pennant. So some value here, right? That's the whole point of attempting to find some value here for our listeners. The Atlanta Braves, once again, a pennant contender in Nick's eyes. Randy, how about yourself? Which one you want to put in for contender for pennant?
I'm definitely going the Phillies.
Okay.
They will make some trades at the trade deadline.
Okay.
Watch out for that. Obviously, the IR status with Schwarber, Hoskins, and Harper right now are a big question. But I like Nola. I like Suarez. Their pitching staff, to me, is better than the Dodgers right now. So in a series, a 7-game series,
right.
I'm going with the Phillies.
All right, you guys haven't mentioned it, and I don't know if this is just a Bay Area thing, but I'm going to go ahead and just put the LA Dodgers into pennant contender because I can't help myself. So I just put the Dodgers on the same top line with the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. So now we've got 3 spots.
I think the Dodgers definitely make the NL Championship, but they'll be defeated by the Braves.
Fair enough. So contender. Some other teams that are in the mix for playoff spot and or wild card.
I love Milwaukee.
Okay. Well, obviously, yeah, they're the leaders of the Central now. So let's go ahead and put them in a playoff spot. Okay, that's 4. We got 2 more. Could we discuss possibly the Cardinals, or let's take a look at how we look at the standings from a wild card perspective. It's Atlanta at the very top right now. Cardinals right now are in the 2nd spot in the National League for a wild card spot. So unless you guys don't think that they're going to have the goods, how about San Diego?
I was going to say San Diego should be up there.
Okay.
Definitely wild card.
At least a wild card. Very good. Randy, we're going to go ahead and have you make our last pick here for the National League.
You know what? I'm going to go the Cardinals.
Okay.
I think San Diego, when they, again, come end of August, September, when they're playing everybody in their division, they're going to get beat up.
Nick, I like your perspective on this fun little project here as we created tiers for the first time on the show. Yes, look, obviously there's teams that have raced way to the front and have been really, really fantastic just from a record standpoint, right? But a half season does not make the entirety of this whole entire, even though we're now at I want to say
the halfway point.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, we've been talking about this all year long, and I think it's really come to fruition this last 2 weeks. Middle relief and closers right now are on the minds of every team that thinks they have a shot to get in the playoffs because they're horrible. And I just can't believe how many teams are, again, if you're betting, bet through 5 innings because teams are not holding leads. Players look like they have not seen a break in ball since high school, and it's affecting the outcome. You talk Padres. If you watch the Padres game the other night, Cronenworth and Machado and even Tatis,
right,
it looked like they'd never seen a curveball. And Yaz for the Giants has got that big upper swing right now. I don't know what's going through players' heads because they think they've got the power or the ball's juice to hit it out, which we know it's not.
They have the power. They definitely have the power.
There's a lot of, I don't know what they're doing, who the hitting instructors are, but as bad as the pitching is, some of the players are worse too. So, but pitching is going to be on the forefront of every team.
And once you get into the playoffs and, even deeper past the division series, you're just going to end up throwing in your, top starters at the very end just to make sure that you get the outs that you need situationally. But that was a lot of fun. A little different way to present what your picks might be as we get to the end.
Yeah, I was going to say,
come on, Cardinals,
save that and see how close we get.
Definitely take a look and see it. It should be a lot of fun. Well, that was a lot of fun, everybody. Thanks again so much for joining us on this episode of the Bookie and Better, live here from downtown Reno. Of course, again, we're going to be airing on Wednesdays, so you'll see it drop either Wednesday night or wherever you may go possibly at the latest Thursday, but typically they drop Wednesday nights. So,
hey, and Rob, tomorrow being a big holiday, come out to Baldini's here. And now again, if you're local, Ballpark fireworks. Our neighbor to the west of us is doing fireworks, and then
also known as East, but
a
little east.
Yeah, it's a little east. That's all.
No. GSR is to the west.
Oh, okay.
They're having theirs on their whatever they're calling it, Grand Bay. And then obviously to the east, a couple of blocks, Victorian Square in downtown Spark. Best place to watch the fireworks is at Baldini's.
Wherever you may be, whether you're here with us in Reno or wherever you may be, have a safe and enjoyable Independence Day. For Randy Wike, for Nick Schulte, I'm your host, Robert Kowalski. Thanks again for joining us. Can't wait to see you again next time.
Thank you for listening to the Bookie and the Better Show. New episodes post every Thursday on your favorite streaming service.